Hello everybody, I'm Martin. Welcome to another episode of Enigmatica 2 Expert. Today we are going to continue down the path of poor life choices. Continue on with blood magic. And I know it's been a little bit since we've done blood magic, and you're like, Ard, have you already forgotten how all of this works? Yes, I have, because I am not that familiar with blood magic to begin with, and well, we need tier 3 so that we can get the next Astral Sorcery altar made. So let's go take a look at something I did real fast in preparation though. I've changed this into a small cursed earth farm with a bunch of vector plates inside that lead to a wooden spike, so I can just come up here and do the old stabby with the sword and get a whole bunch of life points into my Tartaric gems. If we turn the switch on to look inside, you can see all of the vector plates are coming here and going straight into that spike. There's a couple lights to turn this on so that I can come in here to do maintenance if I need to. But other than that, that seems to have sped things up in here at least a little bit. It still seems kind of slow. I'm not entirely certain why, but it's at least getting the job done for now because we are going to need to upgrade our Tartaric gem this time too. That said, the first actual step before we can do anything else is actually to make the Arcane ashes, because these are actually used to do all of the alchemy type events and all of the sub-combines and a lot of the stuff coming up forward to make like empowered slates and whatnot. So to make it, we just take a bunch of basic stuff, combine it with a Tartaric gem with apparently no will in it, and we just get Arcane ashes. That's a little suspicious. Haha, the joys of not realizing you have stopped the recording. So if we put everything in here, yeah, this actually works fine. It doesn't actually use any power, except it doesn't auto-eject, it doesn't auto-continue, and more importantly, these don't stack. So we don't actually want this to finish. But the documentation claims they have about 10 uses each, so given that this is basically free, I'm not going to complain. We should probably get to the other tier 1 stuff that we didn't finish, starting with the Divination Sigil, which requires the Alchemy array, so we've got that now, which turns redstone and a blank slate into a Divination Sigil. Alright, time to see how poorly I understand this process. Okay, there we have that. And now the redstone goes in there, and the blank slate, and it spins. Ooh. And now we have the Divination Sigil, which we can now go over to the altar, and it shows us a lot more information in JEI. Or if we shift right click it, it shows us some more stuff too, as well as in the upper left corner. Maybe JEI always showed us that, I'm not sure. I have no idea. Moving along to this Seer Sigil, which is just basically a boosted Divination Sigil. This one's however a bit harder because we need a Sight Reagent and a Reinforced Slate. And the Sight Reagent requires combining the Divination Sigil with some basic materials and some will this time in the Hellfire Forge. Divination Sigil, glass, glowstone, Tartaric gem, and here we go. There's the reagent. Let's see, ashes, reagent. Oh, that seemed like it didn't work right. Reinforced slate. Well, seems to be doing a thing. And there we go. So this supposedly gives more information. Yep, it shows a bit more information in the upper left corner there. I don't know how much of this is actually useful though. Anyhow, now we have the quest to make all the things to do rituals. So a Master Ritual Stone and 8 Ritual Stones, which the Master Stone also takes normal Ritual Stones. Surprise, surprise, surprise. As well as some Obsidian. And the Ritual Stones are a bunch of Reinforced Slates and some Salus Mundus. So I guess it's back into the pool of meat for me. So after a not inconsiderable amount of self-harm, I made a bunch of blank slates, and then I made the Ritual Stone, and then, as per the norm, I misread the Master Ritual Stone recipe. I don't have a high enough blood orb yet to be able to do the next tier. So, thanks for the misleading quest, guys. Yeah, it sure does make it look like you can do this, and yet it requires the Magician Blood Orb. So I guess on that note, we should actually make the Tier 3 altar, because we need to for quite a lot of things. Which requires, oh no, sea lanterns, whatever will I do? And some blank runes. Rune blood, whatever that means. Oh, because it can take, I have absolutely no idea what this means. But we can at least make a bunch of these, and hope I've actually made the correct thing, because I'm actually kind of worried now. Okay, I made them, but I dramatically underestimated how many blank slates I needed, so I had to go make some more living stone, which meant I had to go make some more arcane stone, which I need to just automate that whole process at some point. You also notice my altar looks a little different. There's that yellow rune there and the yellow rune here. These are 2 runes of self-sacrifice, which increase the amount of life points that are generated when I stab myself once it's in there. I was going to add 4, but I don't want to use more blank slates right now. I'm lazy, and I can just sit in the pool of meat and just watch my nutrition degrade instead of actually do work. Kinda sounds like real life, doesn't it? Anyhow, with that, we have the tier 3 altar made. There's nothing under those pillars for the sea lanterns. It just has to be 2 above the ground level here. These can actually be raised above the ground. The only thing that matters are where the blank slates are. And these can be replaced with the ruined ones. So like the rune of self-sacrifice. I think you have to leave the ones in the corners, but I can't remember exactly how the layouts of this actually works. In theory, I think we can add 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 more, but I'm not exactly an expert, and I'm in no hurry to actually go add these, because this is what actually unblocks us from Astral Sorcery. Because this is what was blocking us for the iridescent altar, the Elemental Affinity Reagent, as well as the Rune of Capacity. Because what we needed was the Imbued Slate, which is just an upgraded reinforced slate on the tier 3 altar with a ton of life points. So I've got no excuses on that one, but we'll handle that in another episode because we are going to want to immediately use that. But like I said, you can safely ignore all the places where I put the jasper blocks here because those are just for decoration, just to make this at least not look completely hideous. I was going to leave the dirt in. I was, and then even I can't live with that, folks, so here we are. Anyways, with that complete, well, now we could go finish the rituals one, so maybe we should go do that, since we need that upgraded blood orb anyways. And the blood orb requires a thaumium block. Oh, wait, those are super simple now that I've got that coming out of Mystical Agriculture. I don't actually have to do Thaumcraft, folks! Well, it turns out this was a terrible idea. I cannot get remotely enough life points into this that it became a massive race versus my health bar that I was not going to win. So, we need runes of capacity in this build, which thankfully aren't too hard to build. They just require imbued slate, which is the tier 3, which isn't cheap to make. But, this isn't getting made otherwise. So I guess it's time to stab myself some more. Okay, so I stabbed myself a whole lot and made a whole bunch of runes of capacity. And I think we're about ready to go. It's now at 26,000 for the amount of life points you can hold, and I set up this from some basic automation that turns out I didn't really need. But, here goes. You know, it helps if you remember that it's a thaumium block and not the magician's orb that goes on here. Way too many runes of capacity, folks. Alright, and now we have the Magician's Orb done, which means that we can finally move on to the common Tartaric gem. Although I'm now realizing we didn't actually need to do this, we just needed a tier 3 altar. So, oops. So I apparently lost some footage somewhere. There's nothing hard to make about the common Tartaric gem, it just comes out of the Hellfire Forge off of really easy stuff in a lesser gem. Sorry. And one more item done. So I figured we should go do one last task, and that's actually finish out the rituals one here. So now we can make the Master Ritual Stone, because that's what actually needed the orb. Because yes, my memory is that bad. But this one at least is pretty easy, and we can just pretty much auto-complete it straight up. And there we go. So I think with that, let's just collect all of these quest rewards and open them up, so that I can be angry about something other than just cutting myself all day long to make blocks. Another turret that I don't need. Door that I probably don't need. Oh, free speed augments, so that's nice. Bookshelves that we don't need. And crystals that, well, we can use, I suppose, if we're going to resummon the End Dragon. Blocks of fiery metal that are pretty worthless. Cave illuminators, which would have been nice forever ago. And another Supremium water can that we no longer need because we already have several. So, I feel like I've just been getting complete garbage from these loot chests for quite a while now. I feel like in my previous runs, I actually got a bunch of like super useful things early on, and it just this run has just been kind of disappointing. Anyhow, at least we're now unblocked for Astral Sorcery, so I've kind of got no excuses but to make the altar and finally move forward with Mystical Agriculture and a few other things. So if you found this interesting or entertaining, please consider giving a like and subscribe. As always, I'm Ard. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.